I thought I'd do a favorites video. So this is gonna be my August favorites and uh, my update a little bit on the throwback tarot experiment I'm doing. So I'll start with the throwback tarot experience so far. I started a couple of weeks ago, not at the start of August, right? A couple of weeks ago I started on my last video. I think it was my last video. I shared the decks that I would be working with for a whole month. Well, the challenge would be to work with them a whole month, going back to my roots, divining like it's 1998. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about it before I share some of my favorite things from August. So these are the two tarot decks I'm using, my Morgan Greer. And one thing that I did was I actually cleaned the edges. Now, if you look at my my videos, my previous videos with my Morgan Greer, I cleaned the edges as much as I can, and I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. See, wow, I couldn't believe I got them this clean. To be honest, these were like a really dark grayish green, and I even wiped the surface of the cards. And a friend suggested I share how I did it, so I will in a moment. But and I've been using my Morgan Greer a lot, which is surprising to me because I thought I was going to get tired of it pretty quick, or I was going to have an aversion to it. Basically, my aversion to it is it was very mundane at first. My deck was dirty. It was dirty. It was old, you know, just from age. It was dirty. It had the dirt of ages on it. It had, how did I describe it to my friends? I described it as it had pizza grease, graveyard dirt, witchy oils, nicotine, incense smoke, and it felt a little, it felt a little sticky. It felt a little like almost like it felt a little, it just didn't feel nice like this. Anyway, since I cleaned it, I'll show you right away how I did it. I used, look, people, this is the brand I use, okay? It's not product placement or anything. These are baby wipes that we get at Costco. We've been buying this since our children were babies. We use them for a lot of things around the house. They're unscented. The fiber they're made from is very resistant yet soft. It's really good for cleaning items that can't be washed. Especially, I like to thrift, and you know, I like to wipe books when I like my culture. I'm sure there's other cultures that are like this as well. We remove all the external energy when we bring something into the house. Everything gets cleaned, whether it was brand new from the store, from the thrift store, whatever. Doesn't matter. Everything gets washed. If it's clothing, it gets laundered before we wear it. If it's any other object that could be washed is washed. Anything that could be wiped is wiped. And of course, the inability to clean something before we use it does prevent us from bringing it home. You know what I mean? I will opt not to bring something home if I can't clean it when I bring it home. So that's what I used for the deck. Now the wipes could be quite wet when you pull them out. So I just wait for a little bit until they're damp. And of course, some cardstock, like this kind of plastic coated cardstock. And honestly, I was willing to take a chance on a really old deck because it couldn't have gotten worse. And I was right. It couldn't have gotten worse. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. I also, excuse me, I also spritz a little Florida water onto the wipe, which further does the whole, there's the actual disinfecting aspect, like, you know, sanitizing aspect. as well as the energetic cleansing. And that's how I cleaned my Morgan Greer. So if you have an old deck, especially like, you know, standard cardstock, I wouldn't suggest doing that to rubberized cardstock. But then again, I don't think any of the modern decks would need that treatment. I would, US Games definitely takes well to my method. Their cardstock. Llewellyn, I would not take a chance on a Llewellyn deck at all, at all, at all, at all. Not with moisture. So in that case, it's just, you know, wipe with a damp, not a damp, with a soft cloth to energetic, like, you know, remove the energetic, whatever. Anyway, so that's pretty much how I cleaned my Morgan Greer. And if you want to see what it looked like before, you could just watch my previous video. I think I even do one of these kind of shots where you could see the edges. And it also, the cardstock slides better now. It doesn't stick, which is kind of gross to think about it, but the cards are kind of sticking. And, well, you know, those magical oils, right? It's like, you know, I had, back in the day, even, I still do it today. It's like my, my working deck, the one I was using up until this challenge that I did for myself, that I, you know, embarked on for myself. Again, you know, I'm manipulating oils, whatever. It's like, you know, my cards are part of the whole magical process, right? So every now and then, I guess I'm going to have to clean even my current, the current deck I'm using. All right. So much to my surprise, I use this one a lot the last couple of weeks, and this one too. This is the Good Luck, my Good Luck Tarot, my Good Luck deck. I got, it's one of those pre-copyright ones, so it's, it has really nice cardstock. So if you're like, if you're a collecting nerd, let me tell you something. You see how this looks speckled? Anything that's modern, you'll have this, you'll have all the lines coinciding because each back is the same. These used to be punched out of sheets, and that's why you have the speckled effect on the edges instead of seeing the pattern just repeated exactly in the edges. So there's that. So these are the two tarot decks I've been using for the last 2 weeks, and I'm really enjoying reconnecting with this one. I'm really enjoying the palette cleanser of this one. Also, my hands have been really achy, so I gotta say I'm really enjoying the softer cardstock from this kind of deck, and even this one is softer than any of my modern decks. And then I have been using this one, and I'm just going to pause for a second. Okay, and I'm back. All right, so I used this one. This is the Angel Blessings, and if you're tuning in for the first time, you don't know this about me. I'm ethnically Italian. I'm first generation Italian American. I am not, this is not a Catholic, this is not a Roman Catholic channel. I don't have the same hate on for saints and angels that some people do. I just, I left the church and I took what I loved with me. So this is where I'm at with that. And I left the church like 40 years ago, people, like 42 years ago now. So it's like not even like yesterday, right? So I have a very healthy relationship with the things I still love. Anyway, having said that, here we go. So I drew this card, and it was interesting to me to learn that I don't know this deck very well because I didn't use it a lot, because I mentioned in my other video, I didn't want to, you know, ruin the cards. You have something nice and you don't want to ruin it, right? Anyway, so I never really got to know this one very well. And it's kind of a good thing too, because now that we have the age of the internet, I got to do something with this that I wouldn't have been able to do in 1998. And that is, at the end of every card in the guidebook, there's music suggested to listen to meditate on the reading you get from that card. And for this one, which is Fanuel, the keyword is hope. And look at this art. This is just like freaking beautiful. Okay, let me try to get it. There we go. In the guidebook, the suggestions are Beethoven's Allegretto from Symphony No. 7, Mozart's Lacrimosa from the Requiem, and Trevor Jones and Randy Edelman's The Last of the Mohicans. I listened to Lacrimosa for this card, and to refresh my memory, I looked up Lacrimosa, what the meaning of Lacrimosa is in the Requiem, like what part of the Requiem it occurs in, and all this stuff, and it really broadened the meaning of this card for me. It was quite an experience, and it's not a deck I would reach for every day. I don't think. It's not gonna. I don't think this one's gonna become like my everyday kind of deck. But I have to say, this was quite the experience. I really enjoyed it. Moving right along. Okay, so I didn't use any of the other. Oh no, that's not true. I did use these. And these are more, and I could see why they're so worn and why I used them so much back in the day. These are, look at that, that's a terrible edging job. I think I told you I tried to edge with a crappy marker, edges that already were quite foxed, like, you know, have quite a bit of foxing on them. And yeah, anyway. But I could see why back in the day these were my dailies, because these do provide some really good daily guidance, and I still feel the same way about them. They were they're very approachable. They're very applicable to daily life and mundane situations and all that stuff. It's wonderful. Here, we'll stop at Michael. All right. So that's where I've been. I think I used Les Cartes de la Révélation Intérieure once. That card is still on my altar because I'm still working with that energy. So that's where I'm at with my Throwback Tarot experience. So, some favorite things from August. July 31st is my birthday, so I did receive some birthday loot in August, but it was late August, and I still, because I'm focusing on these old friends here, I haven't really had a chance to explore the new stuff I got for my birthday. And I will share them as I get to know them, but I will share with you one of the decks I got, or the tarot deck that I got, and it's the Barbara Walker, which I modified. I have like straw-modified it because I take issue with the tin. The packaging is ridiculously. The packaging is an insult to the energy of this deck. Now, the original box was like this fiery orange color with Hell, the Queen of Wands, on the cover. And now US Games has decided the tin they issued has the Magician, and the bottom half of the tin is this sky blue with daisies on it. People, it does not match at all whatsoever the energy of Barbara Walker's tarot deck. Not at all. Not at all. If anything, Barbara Walker, a staunch feminist, I wonder what she thinks about them slapping a very male-looking magician on the lid of the current tin. Like I have to ask the question, U.S. Games. If you're watching and you're an employee at U.S. Games or something like that, could you explain to me why the tin isn't just the fiery orange with the Queen of Wands on it? Because that's the energy of this deck. All right, diatribe done. I haven't worked with this deck much, like, except I modified it, and then I ended up starting that challenge, and I really didn't get to spend too much time with this, but I will as soon as I'm done that challenge. Sorry, there's like, first thing I did was I had to I'll show you the guidebook. I had to change the cover of the guidebook because it was the Magician. Okay, let me see. Am I centered better now? Okay, because it was the Magician, and it bugged me. Now I would love to have the full guidebook in physical copy, but it's outrageous. I'm not paying $100 for a book. So, but I did get for $3.99 or $3 or $2.99. I got the Kindle. I got the Kindle version of the full book, guidebook, before I even bought this deck, because I thought I was going to just be happy with reading the book, which I got to tell you, the guidebook is quite interesting. It's worth the read. And then I decided to, when this deck replaced my Marielle. So, my first edition Marielle, both the trimmed and the intact copies are in my Purgatory box to be released at a future date. I might do it on my channel here or whatever, but this is the deck that replaced it. And so I had to change. I had to put the one of the title cards as the lid here, as the the cover here, and I had to put her on the inside. And basically what I did was it's a little unethical what I did. I covered up all the stuff I didn't like. And here's the guidebook, and I just reinforced the last page with some packing tape. And this little white book, not guidebook, this is a little white book. This little white book is like really good. Like if you don't want to get the Kindle book, that's fine. This little white book was totally worth my time to make this modification. Now I wasn't going to cut the cards. I wasn't going to trim the cards because I'm going to talk in another video about trimming decks and my experiences with trimming decks and what I have to say about it. But I really wanted them to fit in this box, so so I trimmed it. I did like them as they were. I did like them because they were easier to shuffle, because shuffling is becoming a real sticking point for me. But I wanted them to fit in this box, and they didn't fit in the box full-sized like that. So I trimmed, from this end, I trimmed the white borders, and then this is what's left on the opposite side. And I love them. I hadn't trimmed the deck in so long that I messed up, and I have a card that's smaller than, I think it's regret. I think it's regret that's smaller than the other cards, but overall it's fine. So I look forward to working with my Barbara Walker deck after I'm done my little challenge here. And I edged, okay, you could see because I didn't cut them evenly, you could see that, right? Like, there you go. I edged it in this red, and I love the way the red bleeds on the front. It totally suits the deck in my opinion. And also trimming it makes it fit into this little box. And that's my Barbara Walker. I still don't, like, you know what? I still don't understand why that tin is so patriarchal. It's so insulting to such a staunchly feminist work. Anyway, that's my Barbara Walker and my comments about the whole Barbara Walker thing. The next thing that's my favorite thing from August is for those of you who watch me that know me with respect to Italian folk magic. I wrote a book on Italian folk magic in English, of course, published by Wiser Books. Links down below. If you're hearing this for the first time, that I wrote a book, and it's about Italian folk magic from the perspective of me, first generation Italian American, born in America, raised in both America and Canada, and the practices that my parents and their cohorts brought with them when they immigrated to Canada and the United States. This gentleman right here, Andrea Romanazzi, wrote the foreword to my book, and I am so honored that he did. This is his latest book. It's Stregoneria Popolare Italiana, le conoscenze della tradizione. And on the back it says, scongiuri e gesti, creature magiche e folcloriche, stregoneria divinatoria, fascinatoria e terapeutica, amuletistica e credenze popolari, un saggio completo ed esaustivo sulla tradizione magico-religiosa italica. In English, basically, this is Italian folk magic, the knowledge of the tradition. It's exhaustive. It's exhaustive, people. It's exhaustive. Okay, of the Italian magical religious practice. His bibliography is unbelievable. This gentleman has been researching witchcraft in Italy over 20 years. He lives in Italy. He's an academic of a different field, and this is his hobby. And just the stuff in his bibliography, a lot of these ancient tomes are in his personal collection. There's some photographs in here of things from his personal, from his private collection. And if you're of Italian descent or someone who is interested in Italian folk magic, this book is worth learning to freaking read, Italian people. This book is totally worth it. The fact that, look at the size of this book, okay? It is so concisely written. I'll be happy to share with you what's in his table of contents, which is an index, which is at the back of the book. Here you have sorcery, stregoneria, benedicaria, defined. Now, if you're watching me for a long time, you know that stregoneria is a practice created by someone else. Okay, that is Raven Gramassi's practice. Okay, it has nothing to do with stregoneria, which is basically sorcery, witchcraft. The Italian word for sorcery and witchcraft. This is Raven Gramassi's tradition, stregoneria. This one is Vito Quattrocchi that coined this term. This is not a term that existed before he coined that term, and that's fine. But just so you know, these terms belong to the people who created them. Okay, and then in the index we have the magic, so sympathetic magic and contagion, and then it's those type of practices. And yeah, so I don't know, I'm spending a little bit too much time on this. I'm happy to go through it with you in a and I'm going to do its own dedicated video, because I've just looked at this. I'm going to fall into this freaking rabbit hole. What I'm trying to tell you is this. Don't be lazy. Don't believe anybody, even me, what we're telling you on videos, TikTok, and all that bullshit, okay? If you want to practice something, you have to go to the source. You have to go to the source to learn about it, okay? You're not going to learn Italian folk magic on fucking TikTok. You're not going to learn about Italian folk magic just by reading one book written by me, okay? Now, I will say, because I stand by my work, that I was quite thorough in my how can I put it? When I wrote my book, I told you about what my family practiced. I didn't tell, of course, it's not exhaustive. It's not a work like this one where this gentleman basically cataloged all the Italian folk magic practices from every region that he knows, like he attributes it to whatever region it's from, because Italy is not a homogeneous blob of a country. It is a republic of 20 different regions, each one having its own history, culture, dialect, practices, traditions, and all that stuff. Read all the books. Read all the books. I always say that. Read all the books on the subject you're interested in, and then make up your own mind. But have discernment. So, you know, whenever people say to me, oh, well, that book that you mentioned, like, is it available in English? No, it's not available in English. This is not available in English. But if you're of Italian descent, learn, you know, this or not, even if you're just interested in it, learn the language so you can read it. And seriously, man, we have technology. We have apps. You could just freaking scan it on your phone and boom, it'll give you a translation. Is it perfect? No. Is it enough to grasp the gist, the context, to, you know, yes, we live. This is a 21st century. You could pick up, any language book and use the translator that's attached to the browser you're using. You can use an app where you just scan it and it gives you the translation. Everybody's on the internet. You can make friends with someone who's bilingual and they can, who might want to discuss it with you. What I'm trying to say is that there's so much available. Don't believe like, what you get in snippets on, what I call like silly social media. And honestly, people, if you're really serious about whatever your practice is, someone who's in their 20s is not an expert. Okay? Look for your elders. I'm always looking to my elders. I'm in my 50s and I'm looking to my elders. Especially now when it's like there's hardly any of them left. Look to your elders. Okay, diatribe over. Like I said, this book, it's available on Amazon, the book depository. I can't remember. I think I got it on the book depository. And if you're serious, it's worth your time. It is definitely worth your time. It's definitely worth your time. And if you're, yes, I do have the advantage. I do speak several languages. Some of them, just enough, just to read stuff or to be able to. I've read books in languages that I am not fluent in the hard way, but it was possible because of technology. All right, that's it for my little diatribe about that. My other favorite thing about August was that I was helping a couple of people I know who live in a situation where they can't be open with their practice. And like at all. They have no privacy. They don't have any privacy. The people around them will not understand. Their loved ones will not understand what the heck they're doing. Will not be accepting of their magical practice, or even them practicing a religion that is separate, different from the religion practiced by the rest of their family members. And I suggested to them, and yeah, I'm gonna be, my book is making an appearance again, because, you know, this is my, I don't know, what do we call this? A grimoire, a book of shadows. Yeah, I know it's not completely in the shot, but that's not the point. Or is it? Let me see. Let me see what I could do here. All right, that's a little bit better, huh? Okay, sorry about that. Seasickness. Okay. All right, so here we go. It's good enough. So I worked with these two people separately because they don't know each other, and I said, you know, it's really important to be able to have your spiritual connection, and one of them, their life isn't like, they're people. See, I never take for granted that I can be open about what I do. There are people whose lives are endangered by them being open about their belief systems or their magical practice and all that. So why am I showing you this? Because I came up with, I'm not going to believe for a minute I invented this, but it's an idea I had and we ran with it. And I'll show you an example of something I made, two things that I made to appeal to different kinds of people. So here's the first one. This is a Mary altar in a book. And the person who made the Mary altar made it in a really small notebook, same kind of thing. Here I have like tissue paper, and I have the what's written here, that is my devotionals for this altar, and whatever else I need here. If you can't smell it, too bad we don't have smell-o-vision. It smells of roses because I've scented it with rose cologne. This is a beautiful vintage image that I printed up from the internet. I used a glue stick to glue it onto this page. This is a little bit of raffia or something from the dollar store to make a little, you see, a little frame. There's my Mary altar. Done. So anywhere I go, I take my Mary altar with me. Nobody has to know. Nobody has to know. It's in my book. And the person who made theirs, they made themselves one with Mary and the saints that they're working with. And they made it in a small notebook, and then I helped them figure out that to have it in a like an insert kind of thing. Like for instance, there we go. Something like this, right? Nice and private. Not that, and of course, it's not like, it's not locked or anything. Anybody could look in my book, right? If I leave it lying around. But what I'm trying to say is that if someone, if I want some privacy, I just like close it up like this. Done. Okay. For another person, we made something more like this. This is my Odin, my altar to Odin, and I'm using this as the bookmark through there. This is, here he is. And it's just, again, a photocopy, because both people I was helping also, they didn't have the finances to buy all the shiz. And so that's why together we worked with tissue paper and printed up images from the internet, glue stick, Sharpie, like tissue paper, like this. Mine is recycled from others, other stuff like gifts or whatever that I received or stuff I receive in the mail. Tissue paper is pretty cheap to pick up at dollar stores. One of the people I was working with, they pretty wrappers from foods or whatever, like stuff they had in their home, right? Again, here it is. No one needs to know. I could cast, if this is your setup or whichever Norse god or whatever, this is where you can cast runes. And when you're done, you close your book, and that's it. So I thought I'd share that. Oh, this is something I did for the front page here. And this is just the guardian spirit that I have on that page. That was with this, one of the people also wanted ideas for a guardian page, a guardian spirit for their book. So, I don't know, I'm hoping that maybe this will help someone who's watching and thinking, oh my gosh, it's like I really have this need to practice, but I have no privacy. I can't have any shred of anything. And you know what else goes with this? Oh my gosh, yeah. Battery operated tea lights. You can have a little bag of things. A battery operated tea light. You can have a little spray mister of a fragrance or something that, to take the place of incense. You can't be lighting incense or whatever in a situation like that, but you could spray a little. You can have a little Florida water like this stuff here, and have that in a little travel spray, pump spray situation with your battery operated tea light for a candle. So the modern ones even flicker. It's like, it's really neat, man. It's really, really neat. A special rock that you found. I'm not really a proponent for buying crystals. I don't buy crystals. It's a long time. I've re-earthed a lot of them that I had purchased in the past. I keep the ones that, like this one that was, it was dug up by a relative who went, I think they dug this one up in Arkansas. Or like, the kind of, these kind of things, rocks that I find in my neighborhood, on nature walks. So, you could do the same. Another idea to keep your practice private is playing cards, okay? Playing cards, seriously. These are so innocuous. No one bats an eye when they see these, okay? Playing cards. Or whatever playing cards are native to where you're from. Although, I wanted to show my little Neapolitan playing cards. Although these, if your family is from the same area that mine are, they're not thinking you're playing Briscola. Right away they think that you're snooping in their personal affairs. So